Hey, today we're having a little quick video. I'm trying to give some advice to someone in my Discord server on how to make a little adventure, a location-based adventure for D&D and get tons of fun sessions out of it. So hopefully y'all enjoy. This video is a little chaotic because I had to re-record it. But anyways, one of the first tools I'd recommend for creating a cool dungeon is Dungeon Scrawl. You can quickly and easily create a map, or you can find one online. Either way, you'd be good. For this example video, I created something a little bit small, a little bit simple, because that could actually go for multiple sessions. You'd be surprised how well something simple and easy, not a ton of prep, can actually run multiple sessions of interesting gameplay. Now, for today, I'm just kind of free drawing and coming up with interesting shape and layout of this place, and then we're coming up with the actual theme and dimensions of the room, what's in each room, and what can be interesting. Obviously, there are two main things you need to stock a dungeon with: creatures and interesting treasures. So I have two other tools I'd like to recommend for that. Kobold Fight Club is great for generating monsters, looking through them, sorting through them, filtering through them, everything like that. And then Donjon has a great loot generator. For example, for our final room, our little boss room, we will generate a treasure hoard and then litter out treasure throughout the rest of the little dungeon. Now, Kobold Fight Club is great for filtering through and finding exactly the type of creature you want. For example, if we wanted a construct, that's CR20, that'll demolish our players for no reason. There are none. But yeah, basically you can look through here very easily, click through all the different stuff and learn that. Or you can just generate a monster. A trio of monsters. And for this little dungeon, I just did that, and we got a giant constrictor snake. And that actually added an interesting element to this because I decided that it was magically bound to this place. And there was little obelisks that the players can interact with and try and end that. And then I happened to generate another snake in another room. So I decided. Oh wait, I had snake typed in at the top, didn't I? No, anyways. So I decided those were little snakes captured by goblins in mason jars. And if the players don't interact with mason jars, snakes won't pop up. And then the entrance, I made this little goblin hotel. There's a hobgoblin sitting behind a desk. There's this little corridor where goblins are sleeping. So there's more goblins than a normal fight because it's a hotel. And that's basically oversimplifying a little bit what you have to do for each room. You can generate the monsters and treasure randomly, but you still want to add a little element of a unique thing. There's probably random tables if you want to do that randomly as well, like room themes and things like that. You could definitely generate that, but I would suggest getting a little bit creative and just trying to come up with something interesting for each room. It doesn't have to be incredible. It just has to be enough to latch on to and play and have something to interact with in the world. Now, hopefully that helped a little bit with making a dungeon location-based adventure that you get multiple fun sessions out of. I know this video is a little scattered. I had to re-record the entire thing because I was recording with my webcam. Not great audio. But after the dungeon, what you will need is a little safe rest area. It could be anything you want it to be. Usually it's a town. I would definitely make sure you have a merchant that's able to sell them the basic adventuring gear, as well as some theme. In this case, I came up with a little fey village guarded by fairy dragons. It'd be an interesting interaction. Who knows if they even notice it's guarded by fairy dragons or not? I don't know. The other thing I would suggest is names and rumors. Fantasy Name Generator is a great way to come up with some names for characters. You can just write out a list and then randomly choose from that list when you have to come up with the NPC on the fly because they walk into someone's house and try and rob it, and you got to come up with items as well, and it'll be a whole thing. Players are crazy. You got to be prepared for that. And the other thing, obviously, is rumors. In this case, I said, the old well is a weeping sound heard at night. And that is all you need. Something to interact with, a rumor to lead them off. I'd say obviously you want a rumor that leads them to the dungeon you made, or just the quest board. Easy enough to say that it's posted up on a quest board, they're offering gold or treasure or something like that, and go off and adventure. And really, like I said, couple names, a general store, some rumors, all you really need. If you want to, you can map out the town and come up with a million ideas, but you can run multiple sessions off of something very simple and basic. And that's kind of the theme of this video. It's a very haphazard video, but I'm just trying to encourage that you can have an interesting game and everyone can have fun, hopefully. You can just ask for feedback, and people are saying they're having fun, you should trust them, I would say. It can be easy to get overwhelmed and be nervous as a DM. There's a lot to do, a lot to worry about. You run the entire world and every NPC. But I would say just try and have fun with it. And the last advice, obviously, is to set expectations, talk to the players, say what your game's going to be. You don't have to tell them the plot points and all the interesting NPCs. You don't have to spoil anything. But you do want to set expectations of how you want to run the game, what we can all come together and hopefully have fun with. And I'd say, have fun. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching this mess. Goodbye.